Hello everyone, today you join us in our car.
Well, Rachel's car. We're going to go on a little drive.
Yeah, we're going to go on a little drive to Maccies, get a little milkshake, and we just put up a little Instagram story at Soph and Rachel on Instagram, asking if you guys had any questions or anything you wanted us to chat about. Just thought we'd take you on a little drive and have a chat, really.
Q&A / drive / sing along / carpool karaoke. Our fave. Turn that up!
Guys, fun fact, I want this as my first dance song. Hey, take it, love me. Oh, we gotta do right. I love the way you make me feel. I got a bad boy, Mr. Me. You are the strength I need. Take me.
We've had lunch, so we're just getting this for no reason. Got no money either, so this is great.
Hello.
That's all good. Okay guys, so we've been through the drive-through.
Soph's got some chips, I've got a little vanilla milkshake.
You know, just a post-lunch snack. But yeah, we've got some of the questions like Rach was saying on our story, and we're just going to chat through some of them.
What's your milkshake order?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Comment below, what do you get? Because I love a vanilla milkshake.
I think vanilla is the best.
So someone's asked, where do you see yourselves in 5 years?
Maybe in a villa. A villa in the Caribbean.
I've absolutely no idea.
Wait, how it will be 26?
To answer this question, I think I have no idea in terms of literally telling you oh, I want to be married, I want to have 2 kids.
I don't know.
I actually don't have any of those kind of ambitions in my mind. I mean, it's classic, but I just want to be thriving in some way. Whatever I'm doing, I just want to be really passionate about my job. I want to be surrounded by good friends. I want to be living somewhere that I love the city, I feel passionate about the city. I want to be going to a sick church.
Yeah. I think
who knows,
we
could still be in Birmingham, we could, who knows, I could be in Africa, you could be in America,
the thing is as well is that I feel what I've kind of been learning since leaving uni and going more living in your early 20s is that a lot of the time it is literally just taking a year at a time. So you'll be doing something for a year and it kind of lasts a year, and then you kind of think, okay, what will the next year bring? But I think what you said is great. Thriving, living somewhere that we love, with good people around us.
It's so cliche, but
maybe married.
Maybe, who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Actually, I probably won't be married in 5 years if I'm being honest.
Depends how long you'd want to date.
In a steady courting.
Depends how long you'd want to court your husband for. Where is your dream marriage location? I personally would love to get married in a church in the UK. Such a dream. I just coming off the back of that last question. When I get married, I hope that I am in a church that I love and really feel I know people there and I've got a bit of a community. And then
what about the reception bit though, because that's a bit more
okay, but also UK, because I want all my friends and family to come.
Big fat
I am
party.
So excited for my wedding. I honestly think it'll be one of the best days ever.
Biggest party of your life.
I want to have everyone there, just
having the best time.
But my ideal reception would just be I don't even know.
I think
I'm honestly not that fussed. I was gonna say big mansion, but realistically money.
A big mansion.
Yeah, but golf course.
I know what. For me, I'd love to have a summer wedding, and then the reception is in kind of a big outdoor you can get these
marquee.
Marquee, but you can get ones that are almost without the sides on them, just fun outdoors. I mean, obviously England is very weather dependent.
I would think more about where the photos happen after the wedding with your husband. I really want that to be somewhere rural, or just somewhere really beautiful forest or hills. And with the reception, as long as it's decorated nice inside, I don't really care.
We'll make do with what we've got, really. These things are expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Any tips for GCSEs?
Oh gosh.
Now for us this was
I feel
oh my gosh,
bro.
okay, I did my GCSEs 6 years ago now. We're getting on. I'd say 1, do loads of the past papers.
Yes.
Because a lot of
past papers.
A lot of stuff with GCSEs, it's more about learning how to answer the questions than actually knowing it.
Yeah, I think that was one thing that I would change about my GCSEs. I spent so much time like learning the textbook, so I had all the knowledge. But I think in a lot of my papers, the reason like that I lost marks was because I didn't know how to like write in the way that they want. Because you know when you're under time pressure and it's like, okay, you've got a 4-mark question, so you brain dump it. But it's like if you get into the habit of learning what they're looking for, so doing a past paper, then going through the mark scheme, you'll actually realise that they're looking for about 3 bullet points, and it's so specific.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be
exam technique. That
would be my second tip, which kind of links to that. Like study the mark schemes. Like obviously the textbooks you have to know the content and that's great, but like just read mark schemes and see what they'll award points for, because that is like so often, and this was in A levels as well, I'd answer a question and what I said was right and it was related, but I hadn't said it in the way that the mark scheme was like looking for me to say it. So study the mark schemes, do past papers, and what else?
And I think 3, a slightly like less practical tip, but still really important, that always helps me no matter what exam I'm doing, is remember that you can always do it again. Like let's say that something went completely wrong, you got an awful grade that you were like really unhappy with, or you know something happened on the day that threw you off and you didn't manage to do it. You can do those exams again. There are always retakes. You can always redo a year. Yeah, like, I know that that's not as practical, but I think it's important to remember.
Just keep in perspective.
One of our good friends, Sophie, hope she wouldn't mind us saying, asks, skincare routine, cleanser and toner, or just a wash and moisturiser. Soph's just got ketchup on her trackies. So I feel like you might be coming to the wrong people here.
I don't have one.
We don't have them. Like
all I use at the moment is that Bior. When people tell me it's bad.
Bior cleanser, yeah, I've seen that. Okay, so essentially, I've always said this to my friends. I wash my face like any other part of my body, which isn't right. Like as in, I use shower gel on my face, and I know that probably isn't bad, but for me, my skin's always actually been pretty good. So I don't know if that's actually why. But if I'm in the shower, I'll just wash it with shower gel. But if I'm taking off makeup and I'm not having a shower, then I use the milky cleanser from Glossier, which I really like. It doesn't tend to break me out. And then I just put moisturiser on. So we just do a wash and a moisturise.
Yeah, but to be fair, for me, I actually used to be really spotty at school. And so this was till like year 12. And then I bought these products from a company called, I think it's called like literally acne.org. And I'm not joking, it's like changed my skin forever.
Really?
Yeah. Like, so now when people are literally like, say you've got good skin, I'm like, wow, that's such a compliment to me, because I really didn't. I used to be like really spotty at school.
I think skin is also a lot of genetics and stuff, isn't it? And like your diet and...
But yeah, you're coming to the wrong people for skincare.
But yeah, no, just pretty simple. And I use E45 moisturiser, which is probably wrong.
I use Dipra Base because I've got eczema, so... I got eczema.
So someone's asked for our fave night out together in Brum. We've had some iconic nights out. I can't think of a specific time in Rosie's, but we do love this club called Rosie's.
We there was that night when they had all of those UV bubbles. That was a sick night. But there was nothing really to tell, it was just a fun night. But I'm thinking of Sam Barton's birthday in first year.
Oh,
Jen, when I like got on the stage.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can insert a picture of me. There's literally, I don't know why.
Yeah, basically we went on this first night out with loads of people from church, so we hadn't gone on a night out with them before. We like went to a bar before, kind of like prayed, and then we went to this club called Propaganda, and it was just iconic. Like there was so many of us that we literally took up half the club.
I think because the club was so small and there was like so many of us, it was basically just like a massive party with everyone.
And it was just so funny.
For our boy Sam Barton's birthday,
Sammy B.
He's probably not watching, but I don't know why, but I decided to run across the stage, and there's literally the photographers.
The security guards were like, get off, like.
I can't speak. The club photographer took a picture, and I'm just literally there, like living my
jumping like across the stage.
How long have you been dating that boy, Noah?
This is from one of our friends, Max. How long have I been dating Noah? 2.5 years. Approximately 2.5 years. Love that. We met in first year, so.
Oh, let's do this one.
Okay, we've got a question saying, what's your favourite quality about the other person?
Aww.
Oh, that's wholesome.
Okay, so many to choose. Okay, I know what mine is for you.
Okay, you go.
My favourite quality about Rach is that I've never met anyone as good at like connecting and investing in her friendships. So like the friendships that why do you not think that about yourself?
No, I was like, that's really sweet.
As in like the friendships that she has, I don't know anyone that's as good as like staying connected, meeting up, texting, FaceTiming, like just making sure like, yeah, just chatting to her friends and like actually making sure they're like okay and good.
I love that.
I just like
Thanks,
genuinely
Soph.
like it's something that I really admire about her.
I think mine for Soph, at the moment, first one that comes to mind, there are numerous things, is probably that it's really hard for Soph to be in a bad mood. And like
Really
I think I think I've noticed it more and more like living with her. Obviously we lived together last year as well. Like I would say like both of us are generally very joyful people, but like I will have times where I'm tired and like my mood can fluctuate and I'll just be a bit quieter or whatever. But Soph is literally like consistently like, obviously there are times where you're like tired or but I would say like it takes a lot for Soph to kind of like, you know, be a bit like moody, which is so nice, because you know like even if I'm a bit moody, like that she's still going to be joyful, like she's still going to be like try and keep us upbeat. So like basically just like positivity, really.
Oh, I love that. Wow, that was nice, wasn't it?
Affirmation circle. Someone's asked for our biggest fears. That was actually Becky. Shout out to Becky. My biggest fear, we were chatting about this earlier, in terms of like phobias, my biggest fear, I've said this in a video already, is tsunamis. Like any talk about tsunamis freaks me out so much.
That's the geographer in you.
What would yours be like that? Like
mine is moths.
Yes. And like Daddy Longlegs, do you remember?
Yeah, it wasn't. No, Daddy Longlegs.
Daddy Longlegs in her room, and so spent about 40 minutes like.
No. But with Daddy Longlegs, I will actually like get it out of my room myself. A moth. If I see a moth in my room, I'm not even going in the room. Like, do you remember when you stayed over at my house and I made her sleep downstairs because there was a moth in my room?
But that was a small bird. Like, yeah, honestly,
that's the
like
thing.
We were just lying there like, oh, maybe it's gone because we couldn't see it, and then you would literally hear it, and its wings were like against a wall somewhere, and we were literally freaked.
Do you know what creeps me out about moths is how like fat the bodies can be like.
Oh, okay, stop. I have.
No, honestly.
So we've got quite a few questions about being Christians, tips for being Christians in school. So someone asked how we both became Christians. So I was brought up. We were both brought up in a Christian family. So our parents were Christians. So kind of growing up, they would chat to us about God, like
take us to church.
So I think for me it was like I was about 7 and I was like I'm really loving this. Like I want to like know more about Jesus. So I think when I was 7 I literally like said like I'd love to be a Christian.
I think the thing is as well though is obviously when you have grown up in a Christian family, it is like sometimes waves of like especially when you're young, like like really going for it, then like not really caring about it. And so I'd say definitely like there are points throughout my teenage years where I'd be like a bit on and off, but then I think definitely coming to uni has been a massive step in my faith journey. Same. So I'd say obviously I did become a Christian probably when I was like 8. Yeah. But I'd say
started living it out
properly from like maybe uni. Yeah.
That's the exact same for me. And this is something Soph and I always say, like, it's mad how God put each of us in each other's lives, because we literally like have so much like similar context and background, like even like that, like we were in very similar places when we came to uni. So it's been really beaut to like do that journey together. In terms of being Christians at school, I mean, like we've just said, at school we weren't really necessarily living it out. I think I always knew I believed in God.
Everyone knew I was a Christian, but it wasn't like
Christian, but it wasn't.
Oh, Soph's the most loving, kind, and generous person you'll ever
I wasn't trying to like. I also wasn't really trying to chat to my friends about anything to do with Jesus, like, because I didn't really know what I thought anyway.
I would say I'd say my number one tip is that like people care way less than you'd think they'd care. In terms of like, even if you're scared to even just tell your classmates or friends at school that you're a Christian, I feel like you can always build it up to this point in your head where you're like, it's so weird, people are gonna like hate me. They're not, and if they do, then like, is that a friend that you really want to have?
Yeah, and also you can bring it up naturally. Like, you don't have to do a big announcement to your year that you're a Christian. Like, you could be in conversation and be like, oh, like, what were you up to this weekend? And you could just drop in, oh, I went to church with my family, and they'll probably be like, oh, that's cool. Like, you go to church, and you'd be like, yeah, like, actually, I'm a Christian. Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a big thing. And also, I think another tip would be, actually, I think a lot of the time you can show people what you believe through the way that you act. Like Soph says, like, being really kind to your friends, like being generous with your money, like being just like really like encouraging out for the people on the edge of the class, like you know, just trying to act in ways that I guess it's like maybe Jesus a bit different. And then people will slowly notice that and begin to associate that with you, and they're like, you know, like, Rach, like, why did you offer to like buy us all Maccies last week? Like, do you have enough money? And then you can bring up a conversation like, oh, you know, like, I just like wanted to treat you guys. Like,
another tip, which I know is not always easy, but like one of the biggest things that is so helpful, like when you're a young Christian, is having like a good community around you of people your age. And I know this isn't always easy because like some churches there aren't loads of young people, or there's not loads of people that might be in your year or your age group. But even if it's just like a couple of friends that you have at your church, like, you know, meet up with them and like chat about how you're finding things, like share kind of how you're feeling about, you might not go to the same schools, chat about how school's going, encourage each other in your like faith.
So we've gone back to the embarrassing moment. Soph's got one. Hit us.
This was in sixth form. This was like before school had started. We were all just sitting in the sixth form common room, and I was like chatting to my friend Joe, and we were just chatting before school started, and he just like literally said something that was like mildly amusing, and you know, like when you're not laughing at a joke, but you just kind of like expel air out of, you know, just like ha, like that. But basically I must have like had a cold at the time. Oh no. So he says whatever he says, and I go, but like, I'm not joking, literally like snot, just like snot just comes out of my nose. And you know, sometimes if that happens you can quickly like suck it back up, but like I couldn't. So what did you do? I couldn't, so it was just like there. And then he didn't even acknowledge it, which I think made it worse.
Had he seen it?
Well, I'm literally sat opposite him, like as close as I am to you. I think I just like went like that, and then just like, it was like, I'm gonna go and get tissue.
Do you remember like in school when people would do that and they'd be like this, like them running around the class, like they would like sit and be like, Miss, can I go to the toilet?
You think they've had a nosebleed.
I hope you guys enjoyed this little drive with us. We haven't done one yet. It's nice and chill, isn't it?
Had a few chips.
Had a few chippies.
Satisfied.
Let us know any other videos you would love to see us film in the comments.
Yeah, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Bye.